everybody, it's Tupy here. Number 2, letter P. Coming to you to let you know what I paint my camper with. Paint pens. I love these things. Basically, painters is what the name of this company is. If you look, you can see that there is different styles that you can have for your painting. Now, I love this one the best. This is my ultra fine, and if you look here you can see why it's ultra fine. It has a little tip to it, and when you're drawing on something really small, it is super simple. I mean, you just draw. So like on my little rock here, my little Snoopy rock that I did a little fire, you can literally, you just draw. Easy peasy. For fine details, this is the one that you want to go with. Okay, so that being said, the reason they're painter's tape, these are the same. One's a spray, which is my aerosol that I use sometimes painting my camper, and my paint pens, oil-based. Okay, when you're doing these, there's the other oil-based. For my bigger areas, I use quarts of this stuff here. It's an oil-based as well. And when you do oil-based, there's something you have to have. Paint thinner. Reason you gotta have paint thinner is because you want to have a rag handy with that stuff on it to wipe up this stuff here. It is a lot different than oil-based is so much different than acrylics or anything else that you paint with if you're a painter. So what I always do is I have a rag on it, and I'll make a big mess or something like that, and I'll take a rag and I'll wipe it off with that paint thinner, and it'll come right off. It's no big deal. You do not have to worry. Now, I will tell you, on these right here, I'll give you a little example here, okay? When you use these, you're going to be pushing down on it, okay, to get the paint to come down to it. Now, if you see here, I'm shaking it and stuff's coming out. So when you use these, you want to make sure they can be tricky. So when you're writing them, you want to get the paint, and then what I usually do is I'll dot them off and make sure it don't have a lot of it. And then I go back to my drawing and you can see you can do the fine drawing here versus the glob. So if you get a glob, no sweat. Just grab your rag, wipe it off with the paint thinner, it comes right on off. Now, these dry. This paint dries probably in about 2 or 3 minutes, so which is pretty fast. So when you're using these things, you want to make sure that, like I said, you don't push down on it unless you need to get some paint out of it. And what I usually do when I push down on it, I'm not pushing down on the object that I am painting on. I usually will dab it on something else, and I don't recommend wood. This is just an example. I usually would find something that's metal or ceramic and use that to push your ink down on. Push that on the thing that you want, and then dab, or even sometimes you can even use your pen to dab off the rest of it, and then go to painting on your objects, your camper, keep it simple, things like that. These are the things that people say, well, paint pens on a camper? Yeah, trust me, this thing is, this stuff's really, really good. FYI, $8 to $9 a quart, okay? I can justify that on my camper. But in about 3 or 4 years, it starts crackling and it needs to be touched up, okay? This is not marine grade. So if you have a vintage camper, and if you have something that costs a lot of money and you want to make sure that it's done professionally, then you'll want to go with a marine grade, and it's about $25 a quart. And it's a spray-on, and they do a professional. This camper is a 1995 Aljoy, and I was not going to spend a lot of money. I just wanted to get the band that was around it, that ugly white band, and I just started being creative, and I found that the paint pens worked really, really well. And I touch them up about every 3 years. I'll go back and touch up the camper because it will fade because of the sun will bleach it out, or sometimes rocks hit my camper when I'm going down my country road and it chips something. I have to touch it up. Anyway, so if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you don't like this video, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to my thing. That's TUPYOR 2 letter P. Thanks for subscribing. Thanks for giving me a like. Thanks for tuning in. I'm going to give you more tutorials on what I will be painting and the little tidbits you might need to know with the paint pens.